What's good, people? Hope you are well. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the show. As ever, I'm your host, Dan Potts, and I'm on my own tonight because I'm going to be doing some predictions for the season that is kicking off in literally 55 minutes. It is Burnley against Manchester City, and I'm looking forward to it. I am looking forward to this Vincent Kompany side, and we're going to get into why in a little bit. Before I do anything else, please make sure you do me a favor, smash a like on this video, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I think we are now on our way very, very quickly to a 12k, which is absolutely amazing. So please make sure that you do that and support the channel. If you do want to join as a member, then you can do. We're going to get to tonight's show. Do not worry, people think there is a scam in the chat. It is not a scam at all. This is an opportunity for you, if you do like a bet at the weekend, to get yourself involved in a Patreon service that I've been using myself. It has been absolutely superb for me in the last 2 months. I've literally won every single month. So if you do like a bet and you do like to have a little bit of a flutter at the weekend, whether it be on the MMA or the boxing, Formula One, football, then please do make sure that you follow this Patreon. It has not let me down in 2 months, people. I'm not going to say how much I'm winning, but I can't even lie to you. It's been fantastic. So please make sure that you do that. There'll be a link in the description, and it will be Bread and Honey Bets. So please make sure that you go and follow Bread and Honey Bets on Twitter if you do fancy that. Let's get to it, shall we? Premier League is back. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm quite excited. I'm quite excited because I've missed football and I've missed competitive football. I understand pre-season is exciting. I had a great weekend at the Community Shield. Do not get me wrong. I loved beating Manchester City, but the competitive football starts tonight, and for Arsenal, it's tomorrow. Great weekend of football lined up, some fantastic games of football, two in particular that I'm looking forward to, other than tonight and of course the Arsenal game, which we've just touched on. I'm really looking forward to Newcastle Aston Villa. I think that's going to be an absolute thriller, and I can see a lot of goals in that one. I also feel like Chelsea Liverpool will be interesting to see. That, let's be real, the two teams that disappointed last year, what are they going to be like this year? I'm sure they're going to be better than what they had start-wise last season. They could never really play catch-up. So let's do a little bit of predictions. Not going to be a long stream. Just want to get some thoughts across the line in relation to what I think is going to be happening moving forward. Now, let's go with the Premier League. Let's start with the Premier League table itself. Okay, people are talking about who's going to be champions. As things stand, I'm going to go with this. In 2 weeks' time, it could change because we've got 2-3 weeks of the window still open. I imagine Manchester City, Arsenal, Liverpool, Chelsea, United, Spurs, Newcastle, Villa, West Ham, Brentford, Fulham, Palace, all to do something. So the top teams of last season, let's say top half, I would say are all going to do some business. But as things stand right now, this is what I'm going with. I think Arsenal have strengthened in the window, but so far, I don't think they've strengthened enough. And that's why I think Manchester City will win the league. I can't sit there after them coming off the back of a treble with the best manager I've seen, with the best striker I've seen, and then predict them not to win the league. I just think they will do it. And I just feel like the players they've lost, they will replace them. It looks like Mahrez, Gundogan, potentially Kyle Walker, will look like he's staying now. I think they will replace them, but I also think that they'll replace their goals or find a way to replace their goals. If they can't replace their goals, they'll find a system that suits them so that they do not lose those games. That's what I think. I honestly believe that. So, what does this mean for the rest of the table? Well, I think Manchester City have got to be favourites, and that's why I'm going for them. But I am going Arsenal second. And I think Arsenal will be a close second. I don't think it's going to be a runaway 15-point gap. I honestly believe that Arsenal will do some serious business this summer in the window left. But will it be enough? I'm not so sure that it will be. But I am going to tip us for second. I'm going to tip Liverpool coming in at third. Now, I know for a fact they're going to go and buy a holding midfielder, and I do think they're going to go and get a centre back. We've spoken about the drama with Caicedo. Probably looks like they're going to go back in for Lavia, and I think they'll get that deal done. If Chelsea get Lavia and Caicedo, Liverpool are going to be pissed. I tell you that now, absolutely. But I do think they'll get a holding midfielder. I do think they'll get a centre half, and I think Liverpool will be title challengers. I really do if they get those two positions filled, and it could be a three-way title battle. Then we come in with the rest of it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the table up that I think it's going to be, and we're going to discuss it like position by position. Can't make it much bigger because of this graphic that I've got, but this is what I think it will be. Now, apologies that it's not in the biggest of zoom for you, but we're going to run through it. I've got Man City to win it. I've gone Arsenal in second and Liverpool in third. I think Newcastle are going to strengthen enough to keep fourth place. I don't think Champions League's going to massively affect them. People do. I don't think Newcastle are going to look at the Champions League and go, right, let's just try and stay in the top half. Newcastle, with the signings they've made and the signings I believe they'll continue to make, I think will be fine. I like their style of play. Eddie Howe is a good manager. He's got them ticking. They've not made 8 or 9 changes, so it's going to be a very similar first 11 to last season, with the additions of Harvey Barnes, Livramento, Tonali. I think they've made some very smart signings, if I'm honest, and I still think they'll make some more. That's why I've gone for Newcastle in the top 4. People will say, really? You're not putting United in there, Chelsea in there? No. I think United and Chelsea are coming 5th and 6th. I think Manchester United still haven't done enough for me to strengthen. Mount, Onana and Højlund, for me, doesn't get them any further than 5th place for me. I honestly don't. And I feel personally like people will think that's harsh. Now, if Manchester United go and get Todibo, they go and get Amrabat, they get another centre forward in, I could change that. And this is why I'm doing it now, because I can only go on what we believe is at the start of this season, not what we think everyone's going to sign. So that's why I put Man United missing out. Then I've gone for Chelsea with one game a week with the midfield that I believe will potentially be Caicedo, Lavia and Enzo Nkunku when he's back fit. They've got some good players, but they're young. Andre Santos, Chukwuemeka, Mudryk, obviously Sterling. Hasn't really done it in a Chelsea shirt, but I imagine Poch will get best out of him. Up top, I believe another centre forward will come in, but Nicholas Jackson is a player that I think will actually do quite well. I've been impressed with him in pre-season. And at the back, they're actually quite solid when they keep their centre-halves fit and their full-backs fit. Sanchez is a better keeper than Kepa. So I think Chelsea one game a week, I think will be all right. I really do. So I'm going to go for them to get back into Europe in 6th place. Aston Villa I've put in 7th. I actually really fancy them, man. I think they have a very good season. I think they're going to get Conference League position again, and I think they're going to win that Conference League. I really do under Unai Emery. I'm going to have to go with them, man. I really am. I think they're looking very good. Their signings look fantastic. Big fan of Diaby. Big fan of Pau Torres. I think as well, Tielemans has been fantastic in pre-season. I think they've made some very good signings. A smart business from Aston Villa. In 8th place, I've gone for Brighton. I know they're going to lose Caicedo, but I know for a fact they've already replaced him with 2 players. One of them, I think, was in the Belgian league last season, absolutely killing it. And there's a couple of players that have come into the mix that I believe will be the next McAllister and Caicedo. They just seem to keep getting their scouting correct. So I've got no reason to put Brighton in the bottom half. I think they're going to go for it again. I've gone for Spurs in 9th because I think they're going to miss Harry Kane. Now, I think it will take a few games for them, but I do think that they'll get some goals by committee. Son, Kulusevski, Richarlison, Maddison, all going to create and score goals, but I just don't know that Tottenham have got enough to get into the European places. They are, however, one game a week, just like Chelsea. So they could, to be fair, have a chance of getting European football, but I just think they're going to miss out. West Ham, they're going to lose Paqueta and Rice potentially. Well, Rice has gone, Paqueta potentially. But they are going to get David Moyes signings. And I don't see them having as bad a season as they did last time. So I'm going to go for West Ham in 10th. I think West Ham were underachieving last season in the league. And we saw that when they went on to win a European trophy. And as much as we banter Dan Lawless, I don't think they're going to have a relegation fight. I think they're going to be in the top half because I still feel like they're going to have enough quality, in my opinion, anyway. So let's see what happens there. Brentford, I've gone for 11th. I've gone for Brentford in 11th because I know they're going to miss Ivan Toney, but they're potentially going to get him back in January unless anybody signs. But I think Mbeumo and Visser would definitely score enough, and they haven't really lost any players. They've gained them. Good signing in Nathan Collins to partner Ben Mee at the back. They've always been good defensively. They've got a new keeper to replace David Raya, and Thomas Frankie's good enough for me. So I've just put them missing out on the top half. And to be fair, they could quite easily finish above West Ham. Fulham in 12th. They're going to probably look at, or definitely keeping Marco Silva. I'm not sure what's happening with Mitrovic, but it looks like he's staying at the moment. So I've gone for Fulham into 12th. Palace are going to miss Zaha, and it looks like Elise could be on his way to Chelsea, and that is going to be a major blow for them. But I still think Palace with Eze and some attacking players they'll get in, I think will be okay. But again, mid-table, don't see them doing anything special. Burnley, I think they could surprise. A lot of people have put them lower than this, but I think Vincent Kompany's boys knows what they're doing. I think he knows how he wants to play, and I think personally we're going to see a definite style of football, and I'm really interested to see this game tonight. Nottingham Forest, they've proven to me under Steve Cooper that they can fight. They've not added amazing amount of quality, but they've kept what they had last season, which to be fair was a lot of new players. And they started to gel towards the end of last season and fight and show some togetherness. And I think that, again, that'll be enough to get them safe. Their home record is phenomenal. Such a hard place to go to and win. So I've gone for Forest. I've gone for Bournemouth, and I did flirt with the idea of them getting relegated, but I love their signings. I think Max Aarons, I think Alex Scott, they've obviously made some others as well that the new manager likes the look of. He's a very, very highly rated manager that plays an attractive style of football, and I think Bournemouth could have a season that might surprise a few. So I'm going to go for them just to stay up. And then Everton, I think they'll stay up again, but I don't look at any of their signings and think, wow. Sean Dyche has proved with Burnley and Everton that he can keep teams up, and that's why I've put them floating around the relegation zone again. And the three I've gone down with are Wolves, Luton, and Sheffield United. Wolves I worry for. Lopetegui's worried he's walked out. Raul Jimenez has gone. Ruben Neves has gone. Adama Traore has gone. They were the three players that actually got most of their goals in the last few seasons. So for me, other than Pedro Neto and Daniel Podence, I'm struggling to see where the goals come from. At the back, I think Max Kilman's probably their best centre-half, but conceding goals has never been a huge issue for Wolves, but they do concede them and they struggle to score. And that's why I've gone for Wolves and tipped them for the drop. I think when you look at it, you've got Luton and you've got Sheffield United. Honestly, it's frustrating for both of these teams, but I just do not see where the points come from. Luton Town, they haven't got a big enough squad in my opinion. They spent £25 million in the transfer market. Is that going to be enough to keep them up? They're going to have to hope that their home crowd, their love, their passion, their pride, and their team from last season is going to keep them up. And I don't see that. And I also don't see Sheffield United either. I think when you sell Njai and Sander Berg, come on, that ain't going to happen. So for me, that's where I see it. I don't really see anybody else moving dramatically from that. Perhaps I'll put West Ham up a little bit higher because I think they can spend the Rice money wisely if they're sensible with it. And of course, my predictions could change in a couple of weeks if people were to make huge signings or lose huge players. That's what I think for the Premier League window. I'm not going to do predictions for the whole weekend. I'm not going to start doing predictions on what weekends and what games you think who's going to beat who and by how many goals. But I am going to go with a few more. So the top scorer for me this season is going to be Haaland. I don't think there's any question for me to sit there and think that anyone else is going to get near to him. If I had to pick anybody that could get close to him, I would probably go with Salah, because I don't think he's going to have as bad a season as he did last season at the start. And then when he did get them goals and assists to catch up, I think without that bad start, he would have actually got a hell of a lot closer. So for me, I think Salah, assists and goals wise, will have a good season. Big fan of his, always have been. I'd like to think that Saka or Martinelli could get close, but I just don't think that's going to happen. And I don't think Jesus will either. So that's why I'm going Haaland. In terms of assists, Kevin De Bruyne. The only reason I'm going for him is because Haaland is the one who scores all the goals. And to get an assist, you need a striker to score. I would say Ødegaard has a chance, but I'm going to go De Bruyne. He's the one for me. Golden Glove, I'm going to go Edison. Gvardiol and Diaz, Stones, Akanji, Ake. Not much is getting through that Man City defence, in my opinion. That's why I've gone with Edison for the Golden Glove. I don't think that you can buy Gvardiol and partner him with Diaz and I would say the two best centre halves in the world right now playing for Man City. It's going to be hard, isn't it? Edison's gonna get it, in my opinion. Um, Relegated three I've done. Top seven I've just showed you. Best signings and worst signings. This one's tough for me. I'll go best signings. Massively impressed with Jurrien Timber. Think he could be an immense signing for Arsenal. Alexis McAllister. No one's talking about it because it happened right at the start. Could be a phenomenal signing for Liverpool. Really good for the price as well. No one's mentioned James Maddison that much for Tottenham. Tottenham could be in a lot of trouble, but James Maddison guaranteed Leicester at least 10 to 12 goals every single season. If he does that for Tottenham, he'll go down as a great signing. So they're the ones I'm going to look at. In terms of the worst signing, a lot of people are going to say Havertz. I'm not going to say Havertz. I'm going to say Mason Mount. I think for £60 million, Manchester United need to see something ridiculously good from Mason Mount. Whereas with Arsenal signing for 65 million, I think we're going to get something from him in terms of a return, goals and assists wise. I don't know that Mount's going to get that for Manchester United. So there were the ones I was going to go for. For me, Mount or Havertz, I think it's got to be Mason Mount. I think Havertz already has shown in the last few games that actually he's a good player. He's got something about him. I'm just not quite set on the excitement of him yet or the hype of him yet. But for me, Mason Mount, I think for a lot of money, I have to see what happens there. Caicedo could be a fantastic signing, but I can't go for a big signing for me. A best signing has to be looked at value as well as what they actually return. So for me, I'm going to go with Jurrien Timber as the best, as well as Alexis McAllister, and then I'm going for Mason Mount as the worst. Let's do the cups, shall we? FA Cup. Who do I think will win the FA Cup? I'll tell you who I think will win the FA Cup. Arsenal. I'm going for Arsenal. I think we can have enough quality to go for all four competitions if we get the right signings in the next couple of weeks. I don't think we're going to win the league. I don't think we're going to win the Champions League, but I do think we're going to get a domestic cup over the line. And I can't sit there and say that Arsenal aren't in love with the FA Cup. So that's why I'm going to go for Arsenal. Arteta needs to win something this season, and that's why I don't think we will be throwing the domestic cups away early. Carabao Cup or League Cup, I'm going Man City. I think Manchester City will look at last season and think, how did we lose to Southampton? They went down. We're going to do that this time. We're going to go all the way and win it. And I do think Man City are just known to winning that trophy, so that's why I'm going to go with Manchester City. So that's the domestic cups done. Now we move on to the Europa League. I do not see anybody but Liverpool winning that. I think they are so good in Europe. I think they would do well in the Champions League. And now because they're in the Europa League, I'm going for them to win it all the way. In the Europa Conference League, I'm also going for an English team. Aston Villa. If West Ham can do it, why can't Aston Villa? And the Champions League. Champions League winners. I'm going to say it. Bayern Munich. I think Harry Kane could win them the Champions League. And it's mad me saying that as an Arsenal fan, because people will get down my neck saying he hasn't won anything. I think he could take them to that level. Goretzka will be better with Harry Kane in the team. Serge Gnabry will be better with Harry Kane in the team. A lot of their players around them, attacking-wise, will be better. Leroy Sané will be better with Harry Kane in the side. And I think they've already got a good side and a manager who wins things. Thomas Tuchel. For me, I think I'll go Bayern Munich. Real Madrid, they come into my mind, but I still don't know that they've got a centre-forward up top at the moment that's replaced Benzema that I can sit there and say, without question, he's getting 30 goals. I do love what they're doing now, and I think their midfield is ridiculously good. And I can't write off Manchester City. I think if I had to pick three favourites, it would be them three. So they're the three that I'm going to go with. But I'm going to go Bayern Munich. I think it would be funny, wouldn't it, as well, that Kane goes there and wins the Champions League after being at Tottenham for the last decade, winning nothing. So I think he has the ability to do that. I really do. A lot of people in the chat saying Real Madrid, Bayern Munich final, people are saying. So yeah, let's see what happens. As for Arsenal, what do I think for Arsenal this season? People have asked me this. Second in the league, I've mentioned. FA Cup win. Carabao Cup semi-final or quarter-final, I think we could potentially lose to Manchester City. And Champions League semi-finals to lose to Bayern Munich or Real Madrid or Man City. One of those three. That's what I think. Listen, a lot can change. Draws can happen. Signings can happen. Players can leave. But if you wanted to ask me what I think Arsenal will do, I think it will be deep stages of all competitions. And I think we will go out into the Carabao Cup and the Champions League, finish second in the league and win an FA Cup. Is that enough to keep Arteta? Trophy's going to save him, 100%. Trophy has to win something for me. Can't be trophyless again, man. Not after spending 700 million. So that's the way I see it. Guys, I said it was going to be a quick one, and that's exactly what it's going to be. Make sure you do me a favour. Make sure you get involved with the Patreon. The Patreon's going to be in the description. It is this here. Make sure you do this, guys, because I'm not going to lie to you. This guy knows what he is doing. If you like a bet, then please make sure you do that. This weekend, get involved, man. I'll put it in the description. Trust me. Pay the Patreon price, get his bets and win some money. It's really that simple. So let's make sure that we get involved. We're going to leave it there, people. Go enjoy Burnley versus Manchester City. Make sure that you enjoy it. The reason this is a quick one, Taib is asking, is because I want to go settle down with some food, with some drinks, and watch this game because I'm looking forward to it, man. I cannot wait for it. It's going to be a class game. There's no doubt about that. Premier League football is back, people. Make sure you enjoy it. Make sure you smash a like on this one and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you check out the Patreon in the description. We'll see you next time. Up the Arsenal. Come on, you Gunners. Take it easy.